Simply unprofessional. Simply unprofessional. Yeah. Unprofessional.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Simply Unprofessional. I'm your host, Webby. Joining me tonight, we got Devin.
Hey, everybody, how's it going?
And we got Mr. Rob Edquist, finally.
Hey guys, I'm Bill Bird hobbling in the air.
And
Rob had a stroke.
Yep. He smells burnt
Give
toast.
it up for co-host Rob.
And we got special guest Mr. Avelos with us.
My check's in the mail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
What
I
up?
mean, you should have gotten it by now. But...
You know what Jack Burton, good old
I feel like y'all lying to my face. Well,
No.
y'all lying to my face, but all right.
I can't see your face. I can't lie to your face.
So, listeners,
They don't know that. You just broke the illusion. We're done. Goodbye, everybody.
No, they know how we get down.
listeners, you might have heard some clicking in the beginning intro music there. That was mainly Rob, I can tell you, because I was watching his little light up on Discord. But some of these guys are avidly playing Overwatch currently to get into the mood for tonight. We are going to do probably a slightly extended episode, like we said last week. But we're going to finish up the Overwatch arc with the damage dealers, the DPS classes in Overwatch.
We got 16 heroes to cover, folks.
16.
Keep in mind, 16.
Dear Jesus.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, we covered 6 and 7 in the previous episodes that went over an hour.
Yeah.
Literally, the combined support and the tanks is less than the DPS roster in this game.
Yeah. So I will name off. We'll do them in alphabetical order because that's how this fucking website orders them, I guess.
It's the game orders them.
But first, we're going to be talking about one of my newly favorite DPS classes, the newest hero to the Overwatch team, Ashe. So let's see. Avelos, you play Ashe quite a bit too. Can you go over some of her abilities and what type of damage dealer I guess she would be? Because I guess there's different types. You know.
So I'm going to defer the who's the what with the what to our local correspondent on that, Devin. However, I will touch on her.
Okay.
So Ashe is the sniper that every sniper player who played Widowmaker wanted her to be, and but she still got a little buckshot. So to go on the background, Ashe is the newest character, as he said. She is a gang leader, and as such, it's not biker, it's Western, because you only got 2 choices, or the Mafia, but we don't talk about them because Anyway, she pretty much has a gun. It's got a hip shot, rapid fire. Her reload skill sucks. You got to load them in bullet by bullet. Count your bullets wisely.
See, I actually like those. The reason why that is because if you only need like 2 or 3 shots, you're in a firefight. You can just load 2 or 3 shots, and then you're good to go.
This is true, but I'm saying for those people who love the reload mechanic on everyone else, that kind of just happens. You're gonna not like that. So there's the shot. She throws a dynamite that is like multifaceted. You can throw it on the ground, let it blow up on its own, but it's intended to be shot at. So if you're a pro, you'd be shooting it in the air.
Yeah.
Yet again, sniper comment.
That's her E ability.
Yep. And then I believe it. I don't know what button it is because I just kind of do it instinctively when I play this game. But and then she's got it's like a shotgun that is supposed to be used to help her move around or like adjust terrain, like get up higher. But it can't be used to shoot at people because I have shot a Genji away from me because I didn't feel like dealing with him.
Yep, that's your left shift ability. It's called a coach gun apparently, but yeah, it's just a little double barrel shotgun or whatnot. Yeah, I think it's awesome playing Zero Gravity and just pointing at the floor and using that gun. You find out real quick there's a ceiling cap on those maps. And then her ultimate, her right click is obviously just like most other snipers. It's the scope zoom in. I really like the reticle for her scope too. And Devin would probably have more specifics, but I know he's probably in the middle of a game too, as far as
I am, but I can
what
still
the
in terms of
what the damage
damage per
differences
shot does 20 to 40 damage for her.
for the scoped
Unscoped.
unscoped.
20 to 40 damage to fall off meter range is also 20 to 40. She has a spread angle max of about a 1.85. So basically, what that would mean is as she shoots her gun, it gets more inaccurate.
Oh yeah.
As you rapid fire on it, it gets more and more inaccurate. So basically, at full on thing, it's almost twice the accuracy it was prior. Ouch.
Right. So with her, so I don't play her as a sniper like most Ashes do. I'm very much a mid-ranged gunner with her, or up close. So I've learned I usually start by shooting in the head area, and then as I'm rapid firing, I just kind of work my way down the torso because it's a much larger target. And then I usually just shotgun myself away from them at that point while I'm reloading. It seems to work out all right for me. Avelos, how do you usually play? Do you play her as the sniper like most people, or?
Well, I never usually. I play her as like she's intended, so I play her at range.
Yeah.
But it's between mid to back because it depends on your comp. If you have no front line, you can't be at that mid range because they're all going to turn on you and be like, "Hey, Ash, dead," because that's what they do. So it all depends on your building of the comp. If I had a choice, I prefer the mid range because throwing the dynamite's a lot easier to shoot at mid air where they can't react. Because if it gets on the ground, they all scatter. So that's kind of my preferred play style. But we forgot about Bob.
Yeah, we hadn't really gotten there yet. But yeah, speaking of her ultimate, her Q ability is Bob. She summons and throws out and verbally abuses her Omnic sidekick Bob, who essentially just charges forward, knocks enemies into the air, and then turns around with a Gatling gun arms and just starts opening fire on anybody within line of sight.
Some would argue that should be the actual champion itself, but we're just here telling you.
Bob's solid.
I like Bob.
That's what everyone says. Yeah.
I did find out recently, and I didn't know this was the case, that you can CC Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ash can sleep him, and so on and so forth.
One of the best ways to deal with
mean
Bob,
Anna?
actually.
Yeah, Anna.
You mean Anna?
Yeah. But yeah, she's quickly become one of my favorite heroes. So
I won't lie, she was a needed addition.
Yep. All right, so that's essentially Ash. Next up, we got, I guess Devin would say is my new main. We got Bastion. Yeah.
No, he's got to go. Get him out. He's the one I want to write out.
No, Symmetra.
No.
All day.
It's gonna be a war. It's gonna be a
Get
war.
rid of that awful character.
Do not listen to Devin.
So
Get rid of Symmetra.
Bastion is just a mobile robot turret Gatling gun character
With a better spread than... standing up, his spread's better than 76's spread, which is fucked up.
Well,
His spread's better than 76's spread. It's almost he almost has no spread. It's crazy. His recon mode, and people don't use it enough. His recon mode almost no spread. His turret mode is great, especially if you pre-shoot. Like you pre-shoot his turret mode into like a corner before they come around the corner, and then you're already at max because his spread gets tighter over time.
oh,
His
it does.
turret,
All right.
his spread gets tighter over time as a turret. So you pre-shoot a corner before they come around the corner, so you're already at maximum like spread reduction.
Gotcha. So yeah, recon mode. He runs around. He's got a gun arm. Devin already said his spread is better than Soldier 76's. His right click, essentially, he can heal himself. He just sits there and welds himself. His left shift, he goes into. You can change in and out of sentry mode to recon. And when he's a sentry, you cannot move except for looking around. You can turn, and you're just a Gatling gun. Other than that's really his his only moves except for his ultimate ability, which he turns into tank mode, and he can ride around and shoot, I guess, rockets at people or just
It's
long range
It's actual
cannons.
actual tank shells.
Yeah.
The thing about him is that
Yep.
you're better off in a lot of situations just shooting being a recon. Recon outputs more damage, DPS.
Right, but I mean, if you have your ult, might as well use it.
In very niche situations, yeah, that ult's really good for cleanup, like for good mop up for like softer targets. But like if it's like your tanks are on the field,
True. Yeah, it's
Not
probably
worth it.
best for her to be the second to come in on like a capture the point type deal.
Yep.
After everybody's already been weakened or whatever. But
Right.
I mean, it also has many uses. But most people will only use his self repair mode, which you forgot to mention, which is the
No, I talked about
When
it. It's his right click.
Yep.
Yeah, he welds
well. Then
himself.
I wasn't listening. But either way, what you
mean-
didn't say about that is that it is on a timer to make it not OP now. It used to not be.
Yep.
So by timer I mean it's like an energy bar.
Yep.
Kind of like you can only use it so much before it's got to recharge,
Yeah, kind of like Moira's heal
which is
thing.
Yep.
So, all right. Next on the chopping block for DPS, one of the characters I hate the most, fucking Doomfist. Man,
Mhm.
he got
screw this
nerfed
guy.
to the point where he's almost useless now.
Really, he still hurts me.
You won't see him in high level anymore because he's not great anymore.
He is a 3-star difficulty DPS to play.
He's
apparently.
actually not though. Like that's the thing. He's not though. He has one combo that you can abuse, and they nerfed the combo. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
All right.
The only reason he is probably at a 3-star combo, which you will make more sense when we get into the moves, is more that he has to be in closer range than anyone else, and when everyone hears the combos, they'll understand that. So now, and that's probably why they 3-starred him.
Yeah, his only first off, any Doomfist that engages with his fist, you're dumb. You're gonna die. Don't do that. You're feeding. You basically want to engage with your his ground slam ability, which I cannot think of the name right now.
Seismic Slam. Yep.
You want to, you want to engage with seismic slam. That'll stun for a second. You put 1 or 2 shots into him. Uppercut that stuns him again in the air, and then you finish him off that way, and then you rocket fist out. That's effectively how that was a combo. It was land, shoot, uppercut, shoot, dead, and then you rocket fist out of the engagement because you're fucked at that point. You're in the middle of the enemy team. But he can just delete people like immediately because the combo used to stall for I think it was 1 second, and they reduced it to 0.5 seconds now.
Okay.
His seismic slam used to stun for I think it was a full second. I think they reduced it either to 0.1 second now, so it's just like a very short CC, or they did it to 0.5 seconds. I can't remember which way it went. I know it went down. I just don't know how down it went.
Okay. Yeah, so going through his abilities, Devin just pretty much told you what the combo was. His left click is his hand cannon. He essentially just has like these small shotguns in his knuckles. So does he have fire? Does he have fire 3 or 4 of them? I want to say
It's 4 shots.
4 shots. His E ability would be the seismic slam. I believe left shift would be the rising uppercut. His right mouse button is his rocket punch. It's a charge up. So if you just click it, then you're just going to kind of step forward. But if you hold it down and charge it up, you'll go farther.
One other thing too about his uppercut, the more you use it, it gives him shields.
Well,
Most of his abilities give him shields. His
Yeah.
seismic slam gives him shields.
that's his passive. He has something called the best defense, where he generates temporary personal shields when he deals ability damage. So as long as he's using his abilities and damaging people, he's gaining shields. And then his ultimate, which I fucking hate, is Meteor Strike. He leaps into the sky, and then he has like this big circular red area, and then he comes crashing down and does a crap ton of damage to everybody that's in the area. But the thing that I hate the most about it is You can't hide from it. If you're inside of a building or something, it's still gonna hit you if you're in that red area. Which, I mean, I get it, because you're not always gonna be able. If you couldn't hit people who were, underneath a roof or something, you'd never be able to hit them. Everyone would just hide in a building real quick. But still, it's just a pain in the ass. So,
Yep.
all in all, I don't like Doomfist. He's the one I think should be written out, but
Deleted.
yeah.
I mean, he basically is now at this point. He's not great.
So next in line we got Genji.
Oh.
Yeah. I can already tell this is Avelos' favorite character.
No, I so I'm gonna preface that sound of disgusting. He's not a bad hero or champion for this game, because
No, he's the hardest hero in the game.
it makes sense, but the problem is he also has the most, in my opinion, only. He was given from the very beginning. He was given the most escapes. He has the most advantages over everybody. Double jump. He had it from the beginning, and everybody's been slowly getting them. Happy for that. But
Hanzo had it too. Hanzo had the jump. He had the jump extended wall run, and they changed it where he has the double jump with mobility and the extend and just a wall run, not the extended wall run. But Genji, I mean, this is the thing about Genji. Genji's in the same class as like Lucio. He's in the same class as Ana. He's in the same class as I think he's the only real DPS that has that deep character. Like, if you take the time to master Genji, he's one of the highest skill floor and skill ceiling heroes. Like, he has one of the highest skill ceiling of all the heroes in the game. If you take the time to master him and you're in the upper echelons, you can wreck everybody in the game. But that's because not necessarily his fault. It's more so the fault of the fact that there are a lot of characters with higher skill ceilings in terms of like relatively to the game, but most people are relatively kind of lower skilled. And there's like certain tech you can learn. Genji's one of the highest skill, if not the highest. I'd say it boils down to Ana only because of her role. She just has to worry about everybody, and then like also manage herself too. And she requires mechanical aim, tactics, everything. Where Genji's he just has to work on basically deleting supports. If he can delete supports, he's fine.
I mean, I would agree.
Tracer's another one too. She's not super complicated, but a good Tracer you will instantly know a good Tracer from a bad Tracer, just like you'll instantly know a good Genji from a bad Genji. Like we've all seen those teammates on our teams that just dive in with Genji. Like, I got this guy's nano blade or blade me. I dive in and immediately die like 2 seconds later because he took a 6-on-1.
No, right, and I respect that as every person. My problem is when I look at kits, his kit has the most beyond a healing effect, which not, and some people have that. I acknowledge that his is probably more suited towards survival as a damage dealer than anyone else.
It doesn't. His kit is similar to Tracer's kit in the sense that he has one ability that's useful for survival, and that's his dash. The problem is that's also his best engage. Just like Tracer's blinks are her engage, but they're also her tools in the fight. Like, if you blink 3 times into a fight with Tracer, you're fucked, because now if the enemy sees you before your blink comes back up, you either going to take a burst of damage and die, or you're forced to recall. The second you recall, you're fucked. Because that's your only escape, really, with her. So Genji and her have that disadvantage of being flankers, that their only escape is also their engage. So Genji is lucky because he gets his back, he can engage, and if he can secure a kill, his goes off cooldown. So he's a little better off than Tracer, but that's offset by Tracer's super short time on blink. So yeah, I mean, Tracer still outputs the most damage in the game. Genji requires the most skill, but I mean, in terms of kit, I get what you're saying. But like, for instance, there's certain heroes that just shut Genji down, like Mei. Genji can't beat Mei.
Who doesn't Mei shut down though?
He can't beat Mei. Can't really beat a good McCree. Can't really beat Ashe, actually. Like, can and can't. Like, Ashe is super easy to beat Genji with. As soon as Genji dives your face, either immediately before he gets off the bait the deflect, shotgun him, pushes him away, pushes you back, right click, headshot, dead. Like, I mean, it's not overly complicated.
No, and I know. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
you're looking at very positive scenarios, and I get it. The only difference of this is that so fine, that scenario plays out. You assume that they're not just going to double jump to bait out the headshot and then dive, or then so there are, as with every game, there's every possibility. But his kit just allows him to, like, that. The thing I think I dislike the most about his kit is that strike, the dash, because he can use it and then get it on a refresh. And
yeah,
that's
he gets it in the refresh if he can secure a kill. I mean,
which he will normally snipe kills for to get to resecure. So I get it. I'm just saying, in this character, the kit, which we should probably go over because we've been talking ish about it for a little bit. So,
I will say, I mean, unless there's other DPS with only this, he has the shortest ability list that I've seen so far.
yeah,
he literally only has four. He has 4 things that he can do. He throws shurikens, so he has 2 different ways of throwing these. He can either throw 3 in quick succession, or he can throw 3 in a much wider spread.
Which is, the quick succession is better for long range and mid range, and really the right click is used at point blank range against tanks, because you can headshot. It's like Roadhog's gun, where you can get before it spreads out, it's all one bullet, so you can just headshot, and that's how Genji does a lot of burst damage on people. People don't realize it. He'll run up in your face, right click you right in the face, and it's how much the shuriken does. How much damage? Let me tell you in 1 second. That would be Genji Shuriken. His shuriken do 28 per shot, so double that. So let's just call it 30. So 60, 180, 180 damage minus 6. So yeah, minus 4 per shot, 4, 8, 12, minus 12. So 170 some odd damage, 68 damage.
He only throws 3.
Right, no, I'm saying, but on a headshot, because he can basically just right click your head immediately, and all 3 will count as a headshot.
Gotcha.
So you're looking at 162 damage immediately, and that's how Genji can burst down health so fast. People don't realize it. So if you're ever fighting a Genji and all of a sudden you're just like, oh, I just lost like half my health. How did that happen? That's why. He right-clicked you.
In addition to his shurikens, his E ability is a deflect, which is on a timer. Essentially, he pulls out his katana, and any type of shots fired at him, he will deflect it back at wherever his reticle is. His left shift is the dash, the swift strike, where he lunges forward and slashes with his katana, passing through enemies. And if you eliminate a target, like Devin was talking about, he can instantly use this ability again. And then ultimately, his final move is his Q button, is called Dragon Blade. He pulls out his katana, and for a brief period of time, he can essentially just go through and do massive damage to people in melee. And then I believe, is that timer prolonged if he gets kills as well? For his ultimate?
No, it's not long. It's not longer, I don't think. No, but it does reset all his cooldowns. First off, if he pops his ult, his ult resets all his cooldowns.
Okay.
Initially, to begin with.
Yeah.
So you have that going on. And then every time he gets a kill with it, it's going to also reset his other shit.
His dash.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, if you're in the middle of using his ult, right, you can dash and it won't interrupt the ult, correct?
Yeah, no, it won't. That's part of the kit. Actually, the best way to use your Genji ult is to dash at someone, or dash up in the air, ult, and then dash back down on top of somebody, so they don't really see it coming. So you would do a climb up a ledge and then dash up straight up in the air off the ledge, ult, and then dive back down because it resets the dash. So that's really the best way to activate it.
All right. I mean, those are Genji's 4 abilities, so. That's all I have to say. He can also, he's one of those characters that has the special like wall climbing thing, so you can run up a wall and get to much higher places. Him a ninja. That's all you need to know.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
So, all right, moving on from Genji, we got his brother Hanzo. I know, Devin, this is you've been playing a lot of Hanzo recently.
I have been.
He is another 3-star difficulty character, apparently. I will say he's definitely a 3-star difficulty character for me. I'm no good with him.
Me either.
I've just gotten to the point where I'm decent.
So Hanzo's essentially a sniper with a bow and arrow.
Yep.
So
Which I love archers and almost everything, so that's why he was the first character that initially I was drawn to, but I sucked at him. So
right.
I played him, but I sucked at him.
So Hanzo has his normal shot where he, draws back an arrow and fires. It does crazy amounts of damage.
His shot does 29 to 125 at full charge. So 29 at no charge if you just left clicking it without charging it. Yep. 125 if it has a full charge. Which on a headshot will kill any pretty much any DPS or support outside of Brig.
Okay.
Or anybody with armor. Anybody with armor, it won't kill.
His left shift, I believe, is his sonic arrow. Where essentially he can fire an arrow and it gives you a blue domed area where if enemies enter it, you essentially get the Widow ult where you can kind of see infrared. You can see where they are through walls and stuff.
Yep, out to 7 meters, and it lasts for 6 seconds.
His E ability is his storm arrows, where he can fire several arrows in succession, but at slightly reduced damage.
And pause for a moment, Webby. For anybody who may have played this game before and is coming back and getting more knowledge, Storm Arrow is one of the ones that was reworked from the original Hanzo kit. It used to be an arrow that you would fire, and when it hit a surface, it would scatter. I think it was called Scatter Shot or Scatter Arrow.
Scatter Arrow?
Yep.
Scatter Arrow was broke. It was broken. It was a broken ability. I miss it. I missed the arrow, don't get me wrong. But it could one-shot tanks.
Exactly. So I would just make no mention that if you can't play the game and are now coming back and notice it different, it's gone.
Yep. He has an ability called Lunge. I believe this is just when you jump up in the air, you can hit the jump button again. And he essentially double jumps and kind of goes forward. Am I correct on that one, Devin?
Yes. Or he can go in any direction. He can double jump and go forward. He can double jump and go left. He can go right. He can go back.
All right.
That also allows him to, when you do it against the wall, he will climb up the wall.
Yep. Him another ninja. These are ninja brothers.
Well, he is Genji's brother.
Yeah. And then his ultimate, his Q ability is called Dragon Strike, where he summons the spirit of dragons, and it essentially just curls and corkscrews through the air wherever you shot it. And essentially, if you're dumb enough to get caught in this thing, you're about to die. So,
AKA, if you get Zarya grabbed, you're fucked. Because there's nothing you can do about it.
Yep.
Even if you are a tank, you will die.
Yeah, it does 1,000 damage, I think.
So
it does 150 damage per second. The initial shot, if you get hit with it, does 125. Does 150 damage per second. Per second per dragon. There's 3 dragons, so technically, if you hit all 3 dragons, it's 450 per second at 1.4 seconds, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're looking at
now,
about 800 damage.
How much life does Roadhog have?
It will go right through it. Well, Roadhog, theoretically, if he's staying in the middle of it and he's at full health when it's launched, he can theoretically.
Could he heal himself through that?
He could take a breather through it, I think. It's real sketchy. I'm not. It's cutting real close.
We're gonna add this to our list of things that you and I have talked about that we need to try to test things out. So that's Hanzo. Now we get to talk about my all-time favorite DPS, and the one that I'm probably the best at playing.
Who you should just main? I keep telling you to main him.
Yeah, well, whatever. I like branching out, but when shit gets real, I have to come to this guy, and we're going to talk about Junkrat. Avelos, I have a question. How do you feel about Junkrat?
I like his idea. I hate him as he's allowed to be played, if that makes sense. And I will explain that as he has, by far, he's the lowest amount of shots ever, and I will acknowledge that. So people who kill somebody with just 3 of those ammunition shots from his gun, because he's only got 4 loaded, I believe, you're really good. The problem I have with those grenades is that they take no skill if you just fire it into a
that's his job. He's a spammer. He's meant to spam a point or spam a choke. But Junkrat's at his best when he's doing that.
But he doesn't just spam those. That's the kind of the difference, I guess.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously, I mean, he's not doing your only, he's not like a one-trick thing meant just for that. No, I mean, but that's he shines in those moments. Like, if you're on Hanamura, and they're pushing the upstairs coming from the bottom, like, Junkrat wrecks that entire room. He just stands outside and arcs off the wall constantly, just pop, 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 and then there's nothing you can do. He also burns barriers, because he does burst damage to barriers like crazy. He's great against a Reinhardt shield. In fact, if you have a Junkrat on your team, and you're in a Reinhardt barrier war, you should win the war. Of who Reinhardt shield breaks first, or has to drop their shield first, because you're just going to be outputting so much damage. So fast, too. That's the biggest thing. It's really fast.
All right. So yeah, let's talk about his gun real quick. That's his frag launcher. He essentially launches pool balls that explode. I really like Junkrat for this particular reason, and that's because you have your option of either shooting them at people, and then they'll explode on contact. You can lob them over things, and I guess kind of just spam where you think people would be. Or, if you know somebody somewhere, you can bounce them off of walls. Which is something I do quite often. Another thing he has his E. Oh, man, I'm going to get all messed up about which buttons are which, because I have him all different keybound on my mouse. He has a concussion mine, which I believe is his left click. Or left shift, rather.
Left shift.
Yeah, left shift. So essentially, he can throw down a landmine bomb, right? That now is on a remote detonator, and he can either detonate it when somebody's near it and do damage to him. He can propel himself off of it. And the 2 main ways that I use it, and I still can't believe that some people fall for it, is I'll throw down the steel trap, and then I'll put a landmine in it. So then the second I see that my steel trap has been triggered, I just hit my landmine button, and the character will most likely die, unless it's a tank. The other way that I use it is mobility. I get around the map a lot faster by propelling myself up into the air, and most of the time forward. And then in mid-air, I'll just throw another concussion mine down and detonate it and propel myself a little farther. Really great for map presence. You can pretty much get anywhere. Let's see. His steel trap is his E button, I believe. And essentially, it's just a bear trap. He places a bear trap down, and it does exactly what you think it would do. If somebody steps in it, they take some damage, and they get stuck for a moment. His Q ability is his rip tire. He takes this giant tire off of his back, and you lose control of Junkrat, but you gain control of the tire, and then you can detonate it to do massive amounts of damage to anybody within an area. Devin, do you actually have stats on the tire, like how much damage that does?
Yep,
I'm personally curious on that one. It is infuriating
Seconds.
because since you lose control of Junkrat, a lot of the time, sometimes if you're not in a well hidden place, you could rip tire somewhere, and then as you're controlling the tire, somebody could just kill you, and you won't know until you detonate your rip tire, and then you come back, you're dead.
He does 60 to 600.
Okay. And something else that's kind of neat about Junkrat is when he does die, he just drops a crap ton of bombs in his location. So if somebody kills you and then stands on top of you, they're going to take a shitload of damage. I love it when people go to like fucking teabag me because they killed me and then they don't realize that they're doing it to a Junkrat and they just fucking kill themselves. Like soldiers. Fuck that guy. But yeah.
Good soldier. You hate the pew pew man.
No, I mean I actually like Soldier as a character. I hate people who decide that they're gonna kill you and then try to teabag you because they think that's
Well, that just happened to
funny.
me to this McCree in this match, but I mean it was kind of funny because I killed him 8 times, so he killed me once, and then he teabagged me. So
Like that McCree the other day, Devin.
That guy was my god.
That poor
Poor baby.
McCree.
The one that threw his stun at the ground.
Yes.
That
Avelos,
poor
you would have
baby.
laughed at this guy. I was being Junkrat. We were on King's Row, and we were pushing the payload. And I went around the flank, and there was a McCree coming around the corner. He threw his flashbang. He looked down, threw his flashbang at his own feet. And then I just lobbed a couple grenades at him and killed him. And I was like, "Oh, you poor sorry sack." And then me and Devin just spent
all the whole game.
Me and Devin spent that whole game just killing that McCree. Like everywhere we went, that McCree, he was by himself and trying to flank one of us, and we just murdered him over and over again. I felt so bad.
But one time it was
in a good
really
way.
bad. Like we double teamed him. Like you trapped him, and I just shot him in the face with Hanzo.
Yep. So, Avelos, I asked you what your opinion was on Junkrat. What is your opinion on the fact that he is essentially my main DPS? Like, he is the one that I play the best. It does not matter which map it is. I always seem to do best with Junkrat. I know to some people they've told me that Junkrat is a skillless character, which I highly disagree with. In fact, on difficulty,
I'd say yes and no.
He's a 2 out of 3 star difficulty.
I say yes and no. He's another one of those heroes that has a really low skill floor, so like anybody can pick him up and be effective,
Right.
to some degree. But if you watch like a Grandmaster or a top 500 Junkrat play, you'll be like, oh, that's the fucking difference. Like you'll see Junkrats fucking like in spawn on the other side of the map, like look up, look to the left, arch a couple shots in the air, and watch the nade like bounce off that house, and then get like a hit mark. You're like, what the fuck? Shit like that happens. Like they just know how the bombs react on every map and all that stuff. So there definitely is a skill to playing Junkrat. There is not a skill to necessarily playing Junkrat and doing something. Like you're not just going to be like if you can't aim and you pick up McCree, your team will notice you.
Right. Well, all right. We've spent enough time on poor Junkrat here. Yeah.
Your baby.
I don't want to stop talking about Junkrat.
I mean, we don't have to. Let's do this is a whole Junkrat episode.
I want to dive into his story, like him and Roadhog. Yeah. But we won't. I won't bore people. Man, on this they actually have biographies and shit.
Yeah, they do.
He has like a real name and occupation and everything. All right. Anyway.
So does Roadhog. Roadhog's
they have one for everybody.
No, I'm saying isn't Roadhog's real name like it's something? Is it Mako? No, it's not Mako.
Maybe
it's one of his skins. It might be one. It might be Mako.
Anyway. The next one we're going to talk about is the poor guy that we just beat down into the ground, and that's McCree. McCree would be a what type of DPS would you call him, Devin? He's a
hit scan. He's a hit scan mid-range DPS.
Yeah.
Mainly playing behind your barrier. You
His
do not wanna be a
catchphrase is
McCree
"It's high." Ugh.
because he's outside of a barrier. Like McCree needs to be behind a nice, safe, pillowy Reinhardt shield to be effective. Don't get me wrong. If like you catch McCree by yourself and he has a flashbang and he doesn't flash the fucking floor, then
Oh,
you
that poor
lose.
guy.
You lose every time. Like there's not, especially with the new buff, there's no heroes, even tanks, that can straight up tank a McCree. Like if McCree wants you dead and you catch him and you're like it's 1v1, you lose. Because McCree can even stun over a Reinhardt shield. Like it's not hard.
All right.
You just all you gotta do is just angle to the left, angle to the right, or angle above. Above is easy because it's the shorter path. Just angle above the shield, and if Reinhardt's not fast enough to flick his shield up to block it, you'll just stun him you'll stun him over the shield. Right click him in the face, roll, then right click him again, and you killed. Congratulations, you done killed a Reinhardt as a McCree.
So his revolver, the Peacekeeper, he essentially has 2 firing modes. He can fire single bullets, and he has 6 rounds with his left shot. Or if you hold down the right mouse button, or if you click the right mouse button, he just unloads all 6 shots. He fans the hammer. His left shift, he does a combat roll.
Which also reloads his gun.
Does it really?
It does.
Oh, the more you know.
That's why that the technique I just talked about works. You basically fan the hammer all 6 bullets into a tank for 330 damage. Combat roll will stun, fan the hammer, combat roll, fan the hammer. Or fan the hammer, stun, combat roll, fan the hammer, or however you want to do it. But however the situation works out in your favor, but you can pump out 660 damage in like a second and a half.
All right. See, I did not know that.
Yep. His ult also reloads his gun.
His flashbang is his E button. It's essentially just it just stuns you. That's all it really does.
Does 5 damage and stuns you.
And then his ult is Deadeye. So essentially what it is any target or any enemy in view, in eyesight, you'll get a small circle that slowly gets smaller and smaller and smaller over time until they turn into skulls. And you can fire early and just do damage, but once they turn into skulls, if you fire, it's pretty much an instant kill, right?
Yep, it is. Not pretty much, it is.
Yeah.
It zooms in and it turns red. I don't think it's a skull.
No, it does turn into
It turns
a skull.
into a skull.
When they're dead, it turns into a skull. You just probably never survive long enough. Nobody really does anymore to see those skulls.
Yep.
Nobody survives long enough on those skulls. Like I felt like McCree's ult actually got killed and worked at like when the game first came out. Then like 6 months after that, it was just nothing but like it was a meme because it just didn't work anymore.
Do any of you play McCree?
I do, not like exclusively, but I do play McCree.
Avelos, what do I do?
No, I really don't like playing McCree,
Right.
but it's just because of the. He's more of a marksman for me,
Yeah.
and because my preferred playstyle is mid to, long range, so and for whatever reason he's the hardest one for me to actually aim versus to the other snipers. So.
See, I always have difficulty aiming with him too. Like, I'm just not. I guess my reaction time's not fast enough with him a lot of the times. But
That makes sense.
and Edquist, we know you don't like playing McCree.
Nope.
Edquist, you
Favorite
play
character,
like 2 people.
I play more than 2 people.
Well,
You play Diva, Mercy, and Symmetra. That's 3.
all right, you play 3 people.
I'm also okay at
It's Symmetra. Yep.
Sombra
Talk to her.
and Reinhardt and
You can
That
play
is
Sombra.
true.
Just
That is
play
true.
76.
So we're done our first line of fucking DPS. God damn it. So let's bust through. There's a couple like fucking shitty characters on this next line, so we'll just bust through this line next. We got May.
Yeah, my girl.
I know.
Also known as the Devil Incarnate.
Yeah.
That's the Metro.
So May, her gun, essentially her left click, she shoots like an ice
Freeze
frost
ray.
at you, and it slows you at first, and then the longer she keeps it on you, it essentially freezes you. Her right click is she can shoot an icicle, which does more damage.
It doesn't. She's basically a McCree with no drop off.
Yeah.
It's just projectile instead of hit scan. That's the only thing.
Her E button, I believe, is her wall.
Ice wall.
Ice wall. So you can either set it up where it's lengthwise, like right in front of you, or if you hit, I believe, if you hit E again,
Yep.
It will shift the wall to where it's, I guess, perpendicular. You can shift which way it goes to better maneuver it.
You can also press E again to destroy it, which I did not know until recently.
Yep. Her left shift button is her snowman mode, is what we call it now. But essentially, you just encase yourself in a block of ice and you heal. When you're in that mode, you can't do anything else. You can break out early, but
You can look around.
yeah.
Never use that mode against a junk rat.
And then
Instant kill.
her ultimate is the blizzard. She tosses out this small device, and then in a relatively large area, it takes up quite a bit of an area. A blizzard will form, and again, you'll start to slow and then gradually freeze anybody in that area.
And one of the things I learned recently about that, and I learned that even a lot of like higher level people don't know that ult is line of sight. The ult will not freeze you through walls. It is line of sight. Even though you're in the aura, if that little thing in the center can't see you, you won't get frozen.
I think you did mention that to me the other day.
So, like for instance, Li Jiang Tower,
Yep.
that point in the middle of Li Jiang Tower, or both points actually.
Just get behind one of those things.
Yeah, one of the pillars things. Like specifically, I'm talking about the pagoda one.
Yep.
Where there's like that giant like circular wall thing in the middle.
Yep.
If you get behind that and you're just out of line of sight of that, it's actually a really useless ult in that room because if they're just on one side of the thing, you won't freeze them.
May is technically listed as a 3-star difficulty character to play.
I don't.
That's only because you'll get flamed by higher level people if you play her.
More than likely, yeah.
You have to deal with the community abuse. That's why she's 3 stars. I think she's another one of those heroes. Like I said about Junkrat, same thing. You can pick her up pretty easily and do something and just do stuff with her. The problem is if you can't right click with May, she's not very useful. Because this is the thing. You can left click her, but if most team fights, you're not gonna really have much time. If you're too busy freezing somebody, you need to be able to right click, especially given her right click has no fall off range. You really need to be able to accurately aim right clicks.
Right.
If you can't aim a right click, you don't have to be like pinpoint because it's fucking projectile. But if if you're not hitting at least 35-40% of those things, I'd work on that if you want to play May, just because that is your primary damage dealer.
Yeah.
You won't always be able to freeze someone and then do it. Because like if you're in a combat fight with somebody, like and it's like, a 2-on-1 or it's whatever, if you can just quickly right click twice and kill somebody, you're better off doing that.
Right on.
Also, it's really intimidating if you can right click a Tracer to the head and kill her in one shot, because she's going to be terrified the whole fucking game. You only got to land it once. And she'll never try her ass again. I learned that about Tracer. Like, seriously, if you land it once, like you don't have to be consistent, but if she comes blinking at you and blinks and you just snap right click her in the head and she dies instantly, she would never flank you again. She would never flank you as May again. I've learned that.
Good to know. Next up, we're going to talk about Pharah. I'm not good with Pharah in the slightest.
I've gotten better with Pharah only because I've been playing Hanzo.
So Farah uses a rocket launcher. It does quite a bit of damage and has a pretty decent blast radius.
It only does great damage though on on direct hit. They nerfed that. It used to do way more damage on blast area. I'll give you the specifics right.
Okay.
Her rocket launcher does. That's her barrage. I want her actual rocket launcher. The direct hit is 120. The splash does 16.25 to 65.
Okay, so I'm
and does up to 32 damage to herself.
Right. Her left shift is she propels herself into the air with like a jetpack. And then if you tap the spacebar, you can consume fuel. You have a fuel gauge, and you can kind of hover around in the air. Now, as you let go of the spacebar, that fuel gauge will refill. And it seems every time I play Farah, I can't fucking stay in the air. And I try using as little fuel as possible. I try all sorts of tricks, but I always find, and anytime I'm in a game playing against a really good Farah, they're just fucking in the air all the time. They never come down. Her, I don't even know what button this is. I guess her E button. I have it on a mouse button, but she has a concussive blast too.
Yeah, that's E.
She fires it from her wrist. It'll knock enemies back. And then her Q ability, her ultimate, is the barrage, where she just directs a continuous volley of mini rockets at her targets.
Yep.
And she is apparently a 1-star difficulty hero to play.
So, oh my god, that's a lot of damage.
So, what does the barrage do?
So, Jesus, that is one of the that might be the strongest ult in the game if you could actually direct the rockets. It lasts for 3 seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
It does 40 damage per rocket and fires 30 rockets per second. Meaning, each second she does 1,200 damage.
Jesus.
If all of them hit you directly, so over that whole ult, she does 3,600 damage. So the only thing that can actually heal through her ult in terms of being like directly focused on is a Zenyatta. I think that bursts Zenyatta down.
No,
actually,
if he's doing his ult, he's immune to damage.
No, not him.
Oh.
Like he'll be immune. I mean, like his healing.
Oh,
like because Bastion can kill through Zenyatta's healing with a damage boost of Mercy. He transcendence. He heals 300 health per second. Yeah, no, she would wreck you. She would wreck you. She does 1,200 health per second. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but that's if you can. Her rockets aren't that accurate like that. They kind of just go all over the place.
Yeah.
She can aim the general direction, so it's a lot of splash damage. You're not going to get. That's best case scenario. That I think that's direct damage. Like from every rocket. I don't think that happens all the time, but still, it's a lot of damage.
Avelos, how are you with Farah?
I'm shit at Farah.
Hey, we need Goose.
Yeah.
But I can explain Farah because one of my friends used to competitive play her very well, and old prior to a lot of the stuff. Actually, recently she was just buffed slightly. Her rocket speed was really. When you were a Farah player, even though she was listed, I think you said she was a 1-star because I already moved on. But that's kind of misrepresenting because you would have to almost preemptively guess where your target was going to go because the rockets were so slow. And it made it almost as if she was more difficult than anything. Not to mention her reload speed was a lot slower and she's only got 6 shots.
True.
So she was much higher than a 1-star difficulty.
I think when she first came out, she was a little bit not easier than she is now, but I think it was more indicative to that 1-star. And reasoning why that is because she had that bigger range. She had that bigger blast radius range, and her blast radius did more damage. I think it was double what it was now. I think her blast radius used to do 35 to like 90 or something like that. So even if she didn't hit you guessed right, she could still like miss 2 rockets and kill you.
Exactly, which is what my friend explained to me is what you essentially had to do as a Farah player because you couldn't. The chances of you hitting somebody dead on were very slim, and if they did, that was great because it was good damage, but you wanted the splash damage. That was what you were going for because most people will dodge the shot not thinking that they're going to take damage when it explodes.
Yeah, it's only 35 meters per second. And I think it just recently got faster. It was slower than that, but it's only even now it's only 35 meters per second compared to the Hanzo arrow, which is 100.
Jesus.
No, right. Yeah. That's it's better, but I mean, Farah also has more advantages than Hanzo does, though he's a sniper, air quotes. She is in the air. She has the ability of flight. She can wreck a team easier than Hanzo can, sans the ult.
I mean, but the only advantage I think Hanzo has over her is, well, one, I think a good Hanzo will beat a good Farah.
Correct.
A good Hanzo will beat a good Farah, but also, too, is just Hanzo has the ability to be kind of incognito with his shots. He kind of can pop a couple shots around the corner and disappear, where she's kind of there. You know exactly where
you know where they're coming from. Yeah.
So she's a couple of advantages over Hanzo in terms of potential of damage, but in terms of being focused down, like she draws way more aggro than Hanzo does.
Yep.
All right. Edquist, do you have anything to say about Farah?
She fly. No, I mean I'm okay at Farah just because of the splash damage, because I suck at aiming. So.
Okay. Well, moving on, I know Avelos, you will tell us quite a bit about this next person.
Reaper.
Yeah, Reaper's next on the chopping block.
The chopping block. Hold on. Well, I mean, let me just talk about the current state of Reaper. Right now, he's not really in a good place. And I don't mean that from like my personal standpoint. I mean that from the actual stats. He's one of the lower played DPS because his primary role has been taken from him. He used to be a tank buster. So his primary job was to get in the face of the tank because he wields 2 shotguns in his hands, 8 shots total. And he used to be able to shred through tank health. Lately, I don't know if they dropped the damage on them. I don't know if they made it less spread or whatever the numbers go. And I'm responded. Devin might know that. Is that he no longer fulfills that role. They also changed something from him before where his gimmick is that he teeters on life and death kind of a little bit. His story is interwoven with the mercies. But before he used to be able to collect like soul orbs from people who died to heal his health. They changed it now. He just gets health back per shot, which I think may be why they reduced the damage his shots did, because he would get too much health back. But that's one of the things with him. I don't know the button. Do you know the button, Webby? But for Wraith, I think that's Shift actually.
Shift, yeah.
Well, that would be his. The Wraith form.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where he
That's
would
left shift.
Yep, becomes like a shadow for a couple seconds, moves around. It's pretty predictable. If you see a Reaper do it into a group of people, usually means that he's going to be coming in for an ult and or try to assassinate one particular person. It's usually the ult. Then his E is, I believe it's E? Is it E?
That's the shadow step.
His shadow step. It's fantastic for setting up like behind enemy lines kills because it's very far reaching. Its downside is it takes forever to show to activate, to disappear and reappear from distances because it's like a teleport.
Also his weakest ability in terms
it is because due to the length of time, any good, I want to call it any person with enough knowledge to know that that's a Reaper coming can either set up a headshot or there's a sniper to get rid of him immediately upon coming out of that cloak, and or be ready for him, and it's kind of a big disadvantage.
My personal favorite is when Sombra, as soon as he comes out, Sombra just hacks him and he's like, oh fuck, I have nothing, I can't do anything, and then he just gets wrecked. That's my favorite.
Yeah, me and Devin were talking about this, and I feel like Devin would like to see Shadow Step just get taken right off his arsenal and replaced.
I just think he needs something else. Like I feel like for what he is, it's like just.
I think it would be fine if Shadow Step just no longer gave the visual cue to other people where you were coming in.
I could, depending on what the proposed options are, I might feel differently. I feel like they want to try to keep a theme of I feel like he could use another damaging ability, because if you look at everybody else, they either have a utility ability and a damaging ability, and I'll use Junkrat because we talked a lot on Junkrat and you explained it very well. All of his other abilities are multi-usable. Like there's a utility behind it, those concussion mines. You can use it to propel yourself, but it's also a damage source.
Right.
The only thing Reaper has is his damage sources are his ultimate, which we haven't touched on yet, and his shotguns. So I would love to see another ability because I like Wraithform. Wraithform is the only... There's only 2 characters in the game who have something that allows an immunity like that. The other one being Moira's, which is much shorter and much more instantaneous, whereas Reaper's is a length of time and a longer cooldown. But he can use it to maneuver and position and such. So Shadow Step, maybe replacing it with something else, but what that something else is, I wouldn't know. Because he doesn't... The way that they have given him a visual story and all that, he really doesn't have anything.
I mean, the thing is this is the thing about it. I see, me personally, I think he would almost benefit better from having something like a directional, like you said, like give him mobility. Because this is how I view Reaper. Reaper, when he first came out, he was one of the few flankers when he first came. It was Genji, Tracer, and then him. He was like the heavy flanker. But I feel like now, even with the current medicine stuff, everything going on, Reaper is better played as more your front line, like in the fight. Like you would play him like. If he was had a different ability and a little bit more survivable, you would play him in almost every situation over Roadhog outside of Roadhog Hook, because he just can outdo more damage, and has better survivability just by not having to pop a cooldown.
Exactly. I mean, something I just thought of off the top of my head is, instead of like Wraithworm allows him to put shadows on himself, maybe do like a May area effect where it gets like dark and people's vision is slightly...
That was one of the ideas I was thinking of. One of the things I just thought of right now when you said a damaging ability, I said, you know what? I think instead of having a shadow step, give him like a shadow slide, which is directional. It's straight ahead only. Straight ahead only. He slides through, but he does like a quick double shot as he passes through, like with his gun.
Yeah.
Or something like that. He does like a spinning shadow slide. Slides through, does a double shot with his gun. He ends up behind you and does like 50 or 60 damage. I think that'd be dope. And
I agree.
You would have to reallocate your targets to find him. You would have to, he could do some cool mobility shit with that.
I definitely agree. And then just to save time and actually talk about the ult, Death Blossom being the, or as I call it, Die Die Die, the next single by the Backstreet Boys and all that kind of shit. So
I really want a Soldier and Reaper boy band now.
The new skin's coming out from Overwatch. It is a very good cleanup ult for a team if the team is not expecting you. However, as the overall state of Reaper is very low right now, the moment that somebody hears that, they're all turning to target Reaper, and it's stunnable. You can stun him out of it. Brigitte can stun it. Hanzo, I almost said it. McCree can stun it. It's very weak that it can be canceled, and it's one of the longest charging ults. So
it is one of the longest charging ults. It's one of the longest charging ults because with how Reaper is with his abilities, he's forced to dip in and out of the fight so much.
Exactly. So
that's why it takes a long to charge. But also too, though, he works great with a Zarya as a secondary tank, because as soon as he does it, she bubbles him. And now he's immune to all that CC. Exactly.
Or if you use it more tactfully, like on Oasis, there is a capture the point map where you can come from up top, and when you're in those high tense moments where everybody's standing on that point because they can't get off because it's overtime, and they're only paying attention to the directions, they're never paying attention from up top. So if you drop down from up top and do Death Blossom, you can wipe almost the entire enemy team, sans maybe a tank. And that's just enough, because once you're out of that, you can fight them or withhold them or shadow step or wraith form or whatever. So honestly, Reaper is one of my favorite DPS. I'm basically a Talon siding fanboy. So for everybody who doesn't know what that is, that's the like bad people from Overwatch, which we've covered. Doomfist, he's part of it. But anyway,
Doomfist, Sombra, Reaper,
Widow, and Moira.
Moira, yep.
So yeah.
So I have a question then.
Yeah.
Do you think this would be too overpowered, like too OP? Is if because of the way visually Death Blossom, he's like partially in wraith form as he's spinning around, just shooting at everybody. Do you think it would be too OP if when he's doing Death Blossom, he's not able to be CC'd out of it? You can still shoot him and kill him, but you cannot stun him. You can't CC him, essentially.
That'd be too overpowered. For one reason only.
Yeah.
He heals off of damage he does.
Yes.
So you would never be able to kill him.
And essentially, if you were going to do one and not the other, it's impractical. So you can still hit him, but if I can still hit him, why can't McCree's flashbang hit him? Because it's still the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Man, I liked Reaper. He was another one of those people that I played a lot early on when I first started playing Overwatch, just because I like the look of him, mainly. But yeah. Moving on. Next, we have his fellow boy band member, Soldier 76. Let me click on him. It's not opening. Devin! Uh-oh. Are you guys still there? Well, I've hit technical difficulties, folks. Uno momento, por favor. Let's see. For those of you still listening, because I am still recording, my internet just went out. It is currently restarting. I will go over Soldier 76 a little bit from what I remember. His E ability, well, actually, he has a assault rifle. So you hold down the left mouse button, and essentially it's just a machine gun. The right mouse button is he fires helo rockets. I believe it's 3 of them at a designated location. Does splash damage as well. His left shift ability is he can actually sprint. Once you hit it, he sprints until you stop running. So he is faster, technically, than everybody else, I would say. His E ability is he essentially puts down a small cone or a small little device on the ground, and in a circular area, he and any ally who stands in it can heal. And then his ultimate, which I'm not a fan of. His ultimate is he drops down his visor and does like a targeting system thing where anybody in line of sight, any enemy in the line of sight, you don't have to aim. As long as they're visual, he will automatically target, I believe, the closest one and just auto fire until they're dead and then move on to the next target or the next closest. It's essentially just an aimbot for you, which is, to me, skill-less. I will get their opinions on it once my internet refreshes here. Should be momentarily. All of my lights are on. I'm modem. I'm still recording. Yep. Bear with us, folks. And should be connecting to Discord.
Of armor.
There he is.
What do you mean there he is?
Sorry, you guys didn't notice this. I lost internet there for a moment.
I noticed. Lost, but you came back like there he is. Like I thought you thought one of us left, and you were talking this whole time.
Nope. I've been talking to myself because I realized I lost internet, but I was still recording technically. So I went over Soldier.
Your computer didn't blue screen, which is good. That's good.
No, I just my for whatever reason my modem's acting up the last 2 days.
Did you have a power outage not too long ago?
No, but we are getting
brownout.
We are getting some fucking gnarly snow now. So
no, I'm saying, but didn't you have a brownout a couple times a few weeks ago?
Maybe, I don't know.
I think I remember you having or anything.
Yes.
If so, your modem could have got not fried, but it could be going out from that.
Okay.
And I would just if you rent from the company, just call the company and be like, yo, hey, can you
I bought mine.
You bought yours? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
But hey, I don't know. We'll do what we gotta do. I did talk about Soldier while I was waiting for my internet to come back on. It was almost immediate that it started, resetting itself. I did have a question for you guys. The tactical visor. My opinion on this, and unless you guys can defend this and give me a reason why,
it's one of the weakest alts in the game.
I was gonna say it's very. This is, in my opinion, a skillless alt.
Soldier is a skillless character. I mean, Soldier is the. I have played other FPS characters, and now I'm playing Overwatch, so I need somebody I'm used to. That's why
I'm coming from fucking Call of Duty, and I'm gonna play
Call of
Overwatch
Duty, or
for a
I'm
while.
coming from Halo, and now I'm playing Overwatch. I need something I can relate to. That's Soldier. He is arguably the most balanced character, if not the most boring character.
Yep.
Like, he is very boring to play. He has a set role. He's mid close range, really. Like, you're not going to long range with Soldier because he doesn't do enough damage because he does have bullet fall off.
Right.
Mid to close range, you want to shoot him. You want to shoot his shots in about eight shot bursts. You don't want to, unless you're at close range, because the spread gets basically unhittable at once you get past 8 bullets. His spreading is really, really shitty.
Yeah.
And then but I mean, he's the only real support that he can drop a health station. He can keep himself alive. I mean, the only real he has elements of both. He can not necessarily tank, but he has great burst damage with Healer's Rocket. He has good sustained damage with his tickle assault rifle that he has. He can just tickle you to death. Provided you can aim and you know how to burst. Then he can just keep himself alive. Like, he's one of the few characters that can truly operate away from the team, and as long as he doesn't get dove, he's not gonna die. Like, it's not
right. And
I don't mean like a flanker. Flankers are meant to kind of operate away from the team, but not all the time. He can literally just be off to the side the entire match. If they're not gonna dive him, then he's not in any danger.
I often call him the honorary support character.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah.
I love when people take up, so like, oh, we have 5 DPS, but we have a soldier, so it's all good. Okay, sure.
All right.
Cut 5 minutes later, the whole team's just huddled around this fucking healing station.
So moving on, we got next on the list is Sombra.
My girl.
That's Avelos all day. I don't fucking play her.
She is a 3-star difficulty character to play, apparently.
Yes, she is.
She has a machine pistol, which fires extremely fast.
It does, but the spread is garbage.
Better than it was.
It has gotten better. Yes.
Better, and her damage improved. So when she first came out, she was damn near useless.
Yes.
Her right click is a hack. She can hack enemies. She can hack health packs.
She can hack Bob.
She can hack Bob.
Poor Bob. Yep. The hack is it's her CC formatting. So it can also be used to take certain champions out of an action. For example, Bastion. She can hack Bastion so he comes out of turret mode. If
you can survive it somehow, I think you can hack Reaper out of Death Blossom. If you can survive Death Blossom.
I think it's the height. I think if you have height on him, because if you're above him, it doesn't hit. Like, not right above him.
Or you start the hack before he starts Death Blossom, and Zarya
he hits it.
With you.
Or if she hits her ult, as soon as he hits his, it'll hack him out of it.
Yeah. We weren't there, so I'll continue Webby for you. So she then has, I believe it's her E, unless they've changed it. No, it's her shift. So because her left click is her hack, her right click is the right click is a machine gun, left click is, or god damn it of the directions. Yeah. The hack, y'all got that. The shift is stealth. So this mechanic has actually changed from the original Sombra release to now. Before it used to be on a very short timer, very short duration. I think they were worried essentially about this character because her kit is supportive. She's like a supportive DPS if you wanted to throw her into a subset category, because she can hack health packs, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. She's a flanker. I mean, but
exactly,
she's a different kind of flanker. Tracer and Genji they're the burst damage assassin flankers. she's more of an agitator flanker.
Exactly.
So her whole job is she's going to be behind the lines, agitating enemies. Like, for instance, and there's certain heroes you just don't want to hack. Like, you'd never want to hack a Zenyatta because it does nothing for you.
Exactly.
You're not going to CC anything but his ult. But, like, hack a Reinhardt, he loses his barrier. And your team can win the fight. Hack a Zarya, she's fucked.
Hack a Roadhog, he can't heal.
Yes.
It's pretty much the stealth mechanic is now permanent until you take an action, which is amazing because it allows you to position yourself to support your team in better ways. Translocator.
Super slow fucking come out of invis, yeah.
That is her E ability, yep.
Yeah, yes, the come out of invisibility will go back to Translocator. You're right, but I think that's needed because if they're going to make it an infinite duration, there has to be a notification to other people. It's not fair otherwise. Otherwise, you're just going to have everybody fighting to play Sombra because she can assassinate.
I get that. I get it. But I hate how it's really loud, too.
There is a note here that says that Sombra cannot capture objectives while invisible.
Nope, she can't move the payload either while she's invisible.
Yep.
I have learned this through play.
That's not her spot. She shouldn't be on the objective or in the payload. That's really not her spot.
As a placeholder, maybe until somebody else gets there, but that's it.
If you're somber and you're playing the objective or the payload, something went terribly wrong somewhere.
Yes.
Also, any damage at all will take her out of it. So even if she's accidentally hit, she'll come out of stealth mode.
And to one last note to stealth, and we have to move on because it's been way too damn long, is that if you get close to an enemy unit, they can catch like a glimmer of her, which will alert them that she is there, so they can attempt to try to pull her out of the stealth, but it's not always accurate, and I'm not quite sure. I've never fought a Sombra where I didn't know where she was, so how to say la vie. Translocator, her best damn movement tool ever. Before, it used to not be able to be destroyed. She tosses this little thing. It's circular or triangular, whatever. You can kind of see it on her belt if you look at all the Overwatch pictures, where she looks there looking all menacing. She throws it. She can then take herself and translocate to that. It used to not be able to be destroyed, but it also had a timer. They removed the timer, but now it's able to be destroyed. And it will stay there until you either activate it or use it another way. It's just a really good tool. You can use it mid-fight to get in or out of something. If you place it somewhere pretty far, stealth, run really quickly to the fight, try to burst somebody down. As you're almost about to die, hit it, you zoom through everything, and you're now safe.
Well, that's literally how you should play her.
Exactly, that's standard.
If you want to play her as an assassin, or if you want to play her as a killer, then you literally want to just drop it, but hack a health pack, drop it in your health pack, run behind the enemy lines, pop out, kill like a Zenyatta or kill a Mercy real quick, or hack a Zenyatta, hack a Mercy, murder them. Well, don't hack Zenyatta, hack a Lucio. Murder them, and then just port right
deuces.
back. That's it.
I like to throw it directly on top of healing pads because that helps to hide it.
True.
Yeah. The last skill we should talk about is Sombra's bread and butter, especially with the infiltration, both upon there, because that was her video from Blizzard, and the actual aspect. EMP, so electromagnetic pulse. Y'all knew that. So she destroys barriers around her. Like Reinhardt's shield will automatically go down. Anybody who has an energy shield on them is immediately depleted. This includes Lucio's ult. And pretty much it stops every ultimate.
She negates all abilities. She just negates all cooldown abilities. Any ability that comes to cooldown gets negated.
Yeah,
exactly.
It hacks Symmetra and Torbjorn turrets, so they can't be used.
Yep.
It's the ultimate. It's
the dumbest thing about it, though. There's one dumb thing about it which makes no sense.
And
she
what
can
is
hack soldiers run, but Genji and Hanzo can still wall climb.
I mean, not to digress, but that's why I don't like those two. But
now, question: you said that anybody with like shields, it'll just remove them.
It depletes them. Yes.
So, like, Zenyatta will go down to just having 2 little bars of life?
It doesn't deplete their health bar shields, over shields, I believe. I don't believe it does their actual shield.
We'll have to test. Because it says right here.
I think the health bar shields, like, they turn white. I don't think they go away.
Yeah, I think it turns it off from shields. It just converts to regular health. I don't think it takes it away from them.
Right.
I think it just converts to regular health.
Oh, well.
Which is still really good, because that's what makes fucking Zenyatta so hard to fucking kill, because he has 150 shields, which just regenerate starting at a second. Starting at 1 second of not taking damage, Zenyatta just starts healing. So and it's instantaneous healing because unlike Mercy, shields don't come back slowly. I don't believe, or they come back like really really fast.
Right.
So they just immediately pop back up like, oh hey, I'm here. I'm back at full health again.
Hey y'all.
So like if you don't poke one of my biggest tips of fighting a Mercy, if you can't kill her, just keep poking her because she can't heal. If she's low, but you can't get the kill on her, just put if you can just splash damage her or just keep poking her, it won't kill her, but it won't allow her to heal until somebody else can kill her.
Yeah.
Yep. Sombra in a nutshell. My favorite character, and is usually who I try to gravitate toward. But I'm a team player, so when we lock in no healers or no, I don't like tanks really, but mostly no healers.
That makes me cry because it is the potential to be the best ult in the game, but I have never had a team actually follow up on it.
Yeah.
So it just makes me cry.
Yes.
So the next hero is a 2-star difficulty out of 3, and I know it's Devin's favorite character in the game.
Symmetra
Is Symmetra.
Honestly, okay, let me break this
It's
down.
my favorite character.
I'm not gonna no. Listen to me. I'm not going to go off on Symmetra in that way. However, I will say this: I enjoy playing Symmetra, but fuck Symmetra. I can play Symmetra and I'm good with Symmetra, but fuck Symmetra. I don't like playing as Symmetra. I don't like playing against Symmetra. Just no. I'm just sorry. If you have to fix a hero 5 times to get them right, then they obviously didn't belong in the game to begin with.
Yes, I was going to mention she has the most to date rework on her.
Mercy is number 2.
Mercy did Mercy? Yeah, Mercy would be number 2. You're right. They did change a lot.
Because every time they fix Mercy, they break her somehow. They somehow made when Valk first came out, it was somehow better than Mass Res, and I don't understand how that's even possible.
Yeah.
But Mercy was unkillable when she Valk. The whole team, it would just be, everybody take Mercy, just go take poke damage, so Mercy gets Valk, push on Valk, you win the game, because nobody would die.
Okay, we already did our support episode.
I know where you're
You went a little bit off there. The only thing about Symmetra I will say before we I feel like this has got to be Rob's platform, is she is the only character in Overwatch history to date that has actually moved roles classes. She used to be a support class, and now she is.
False.
Who else did?
Wait, you mean okay, technically, okay, you're right.
Yeah.
No? Yeah, you're right. Because I forgot. Technically, if you're counting the whole defense and offense, or defense and attack subcategory, then it was Hanzo, Torbjorn, they all moved too. But no, you're right. True actual roles. You're right.
Yeah. That was all. She's the only one to date, but you never know in the future what they might do. So.
But she wasn't a support back then. That. She gave shields, which didn't really heal you because it would just convert your HP to shields. Which was nice, but it was timed. If it was permanent, that would be great. If she could a Zen Orb, if she could throw a Zen Orb on somebody and it would stay on them and just convert their HP to shields, that'd be fucking amazing. Could you imagine a Reinhardt that has armor and then everything else is fucking shields? That would be crazy. She'd be the best support in the game, but no.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Edquist. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Symmetra?
Okay. So, Symmetra's right click is her energy beam weapon, which is, I'd say maybe mid-range. It doesn't reach super far. But the longer she holds it on a target, as long as she's hitting a target, it increases in power and does a lot more damage. So if you've got a bunch of people grouped together and you can just keep focus firing on them, it does a lot of damage. Her right or left click is a large ball of energy that shoots from the same laser.
Okay. Did I swap
does...
that or did you swap that?
He swapped that.
I probably swapped.
Okay.
I wasn't going to correct him.
I'm did I swap that or did you? I mean, I know I swapped a lot of things with certain heroes. I'm did I swap that or did you swap that? I'm confused.
Okay, fine. The left click is the laser, the right click is the big ball of energy.
Glad we talked. Continue.
And it doesn't always have to be a big ball. You can have the bubble gun, which is what I like to do with her.
It does no damage to the bubble gun, but I still love it.
I know.
Just bubbles everywhere.
Oh boy.
You get a bubble. You get a bubble. You get a bubble.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, you could just spam click it and little bubbles go everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, she, for her left shift, it throws out turrets. You can have 3 of them, which is, and they shoot anywhere. You can shoot them anywhere across the map, basically, which is the thing that Devin hates the most.
No, I do, but I hate those turrets for a very good reason, and it's because I don't like the fact that if you stack them, how hard the CC and almost insta kill is if you're a DPS. It's impossible to, like, if you walk into all 3 of those turrets, you cannot get out of them. You can't react fast enough in time to get out of them. They're like, oh, just melee them. The problem is if it's 1 or 2, fine. If it's all 3 or even 2 is kind of sketchy. You cannot turn around fast enough before you're melted, and that's the problem I hate about those damn turrets. Is just because they will just melt you with this. And if they didn't CC you, I wouldn't mind. The problem is the CC. They will literally hold you in place and melt you, and you can't do anything about it.
Okay.
Yes, because they also slow you down as they damage you. So the more you have on you, the slower you go. So if you have 3 out and you throw a new one, the first one you threw out will vanish, and the new one will take its place. Like Devin said, the more that you have on you, the more damage you're taking, and it slows you down. So if you combine those with her own energy weapon, she can basically melt through tanks like super fast. She has shields, which until your first episode, I didn't realize the difference between armor and shields. So now I've been diving in with her and then until her shields go away, and then I dive back out and let them regen. Her E button creates a teleporter, which is not as powerful as her old teleporter used to be. You can basically set it from where you are to most anywhere you can see. Actually, no, you can't. I'm not sure how. It's not very far that you can set it now. But if you can get it up on something from the ground, it's pretty useful.
Just a quick tip, too, Rob, too, so, like, just to let you know. Her teleporter is, depending on what you're using Symmetra for, is actually better now than it was before, because now that she's not support, her old teleporter didn't really work the way it was supposed to. Like, now that she's not support, it would have been weird. Mm-hmm. But her new teleporter, the greatest thing about her new teleporter is if you're in a 1v1 with somebody, you drop one in front of you, one behind them, and you just literally charge your F and jump through it and just keep effing back through your teleporter. And they can't do anything about it. You just shoot them, right click, F, back to your teleporter, right click, back to your teleporter, right click, and they just they're forced to keep making 180s back and forth.
Gotcha. Well, see, I thought it, because the old one used to last until it was destroyed, whereas this one only lasts like maybe 10 seconds, I think. So I was like, I've never used it much because I'm just like, well, that's useless because you can only go so far for 10 seconds.
It also works really good for a Bastion to get a Bastion up in the high ground because Bastion can use the teleporter while in turret mode. Mm-hmm. Which is cheesy, to say the least.
That's cheap as shit.
Like first point Temple of Anubis, if you can't get past, pick a Symmetra and a Bastion. Symmetra walks on the left side, Bastion walks on the left side, Bastion turrets on top of the teleporter, sits there, she drops the other teleporter on top of the archway up there, and then you have a Bastion just pop up there. Or you have an Ariza in Bastion. Ariza goes through barriers right in front, Bastion pops through, and then she pops through. You then mow everybody down, you then rinse and repeat, and you just keep bunny hopping like that, and you kill everybody. It's super cheesy. It's the cheesy Chinese strat. Or the Korean strat, I'm sorry. Because the Koreans use it in the World Open Cup. But it's the cheesy Korean strat. But yeah, it's really funny. So if you want to annoy the hell out of somebody, that's the way to do it.
Gotcha. So the last thing is her ultimate, which cannot be stopped. It creates basically a giant shield across the entire map, which the enemy cannot fire through. They have to walk through it in order to hit you. So it's good at range. If you drop it right in front of someone, they're just going to walk right through it. But I also use it sometimes to protect my turrets. Like if I'm on like trying to get on point, I'll throw out my turrets and then set the shield so that it's like right in front of them, so that people can't shoot through to get my turrets.
Question: If Symmetra throws down her ult, the big ass wall, can Sombra hack that and make it go away?
I don't think so.
Her shield covers the whole map.
It's global, so I don't think she can get it. She'd have to hack her before. There is a slight wind up to the photon barrier. So if Sombra can time it just right, it will stop it.
I don't think so, because I've walked up, done out of the Yahi Barambasta Bictave.
What the fuck did you just say to me?
That's what she kind of said. She said something along those lines when she fucking ults.
But I've walked up and I said,
as inaccurate as you might think.
Shit. All right.
Yeah, it's Yahi Baron Vasta Victahe. That's what she says. But all I've gotten out is and I've died and it's still gone up. So I don't think there's any way to stop it.
If you finish the hand motion, it goes up. Which I think she says. I think she finishes. She says that, and then she says so you have to stop her before she says anything. But I think she finishes the hand motion. Like, I'm about to hit Q right now. Q plays. Yeah, and Rob actually wasn't that far off in pronunciation. Yeah,
I mean that's what your team
I wish
hears.
her ult would do, because her ult is, while it's useful, it's basically a Reinhardt barrier. So anything that goes through a Reinhardt barrier will go through her ult. The Fire Strike will go through. Other stuff too. I can't think off the top of my head. We'll go through.
Moira's Coalescence will go through.
Yep, that'll go through. Coalescence go through fucking everything.
The friggin' dragons.
Those go through.
Those dragons.
The only thing I wish her ult would do is I really want to bisect someone with it. Like, I would love to be like opening up the ult and just like carve their team in half with the ult. It would be dope. Like, just do like 200 damage. Just like, if you get hit by the actual wall, it's just 200 damage. Like, I would love to just like walk in front, like, and treat them like that fucking vampire in Castlevania on Netflix, Webby.
Oh yeah. Oh, that'd be cool with the ice wall there or whatever.
Yeah, it's just like drop her fucking wall ult and be like, all right, cool, dope.
Yo, you got kind of good.
Fun fact: if nobody knew this, sometimes people say different things for their ult depending on whose team you're on.
Yes.
I thought it was usually language related. Well, if there is a language that they speak.
Well, like on if you're on Symmetra's team, you hear that what I just said. But if you're on the other team, you hear reality bends to my will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Just like Ashe when she does her, if she's I think she's attacking, it's Bob get in there, or she's defending it. Or no, if she's defending, it's Bob get in there. If she's attacking, it's Bob do something.
Yep. I mean, okay, yeah, 'cause she doesn't have an accent. A dialect, because I know May's, because she has a dialect, it's in there. I know Farah has it. I know Anna has it. I know Sombra has it. So it's probably just, I
want to download the Korean sound pack and just play with all Korean sounds.
All right.
Oh god, this one.
All right, next up on the block, we got Torbjorn.
That rip-off dwarf from World of Warcraft. I mean, what?
I mean, they even gave him the skin, so to be fair.
Yeah, he has the Magni skin now.
I know, that rip-off dwarf from Sweden.
I will say, I love playing Torbjorn on Temple of Anubis, especially the defense. It's not so much great now, but I used to, on the second point, I used to just hide the turret in the corner, so then once they ran onto point, they just immediately start getting shot at, and for whatever reason, it worked for the longest time, and no one knew where this fucking turret was. People have caught on since then. So.
People have gotten collectively smarter.
Yeah. Yep.
How dare they?
Torbjorn is another one of the characters who's gone through some changes. Mainly his ult has changed. But let's start with his left click. He has a rivet gun, essentially. So I believe his left click is his single fire.
I love and hate that gun, but yes.
His right click is like a massive burst fire where he shoots like...
It's a shotgun.
Yeah, it's a shotgun. You can use your mouse wheel and scroll to a hammer. The hammer...
it does melee damage.
Yeah, which I still want to just play a round of being Torbjorn and just run around and beat people with a hammer.
No. The funnest thing to do is you go into custom games. You play like what is it called? Like World's Strongest Hammer or something like that. You basically have one person, the other team is a Reinhardt with 1,000 HP. Then you have 5 or 6 of the Torbjorns that are all Torbjorns only using their hammer. and you increase their speed. I think it's called like 6 Angry Dwarfs. You increase their speed like 300%. So you have this Reinhardt trying to kill these Torbjorns. He's at full health, or I think he has like 1,000 HP. And yeah, and so you have these Torbjorns running around that are like 3 times faster than they should be, swinging their hammers. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
So the hammer can be used as a weapon, and it can repair
It
your
never
turret.
is, but it can be.
And it can be used to repair your turret if your turret's taking damage. Your left shift button is, I believe, what deploys your turret.
Yep.
It used to be just a single barrel turret, and then you could use your hammer and upgrade it to a double barrel. Now it just comes out as a double barrel turret, which automatically tracks and attacks your enemies, which can be kind of nice, but against tanks like Zarya, it can be kind of detrimental, because now you're just feeding into her ult.
Her overall charge build up.
Yeah, that's what I meant. His E ability is now something called Overload, where he gains additional armor, as well as attack, movement, and reload speed for a brief period of time. So he no longer gives out the armor packs like he used to.
Yep.
Cheap dwarf.
Yep, cheap dwarf. And then his Q button, his ultimate is now, it's Molten Core. They kept the name of it. But now he just literally shoots out pools of molten slag, and essentially jizzes all over the ground. And anybody caught in it just starts fucking burning to death.
And it actually does more damage against armored enemies.
Good. I mean, that makes sense.
It does 190 compared to 160 per second.
Whereas Molten Core before used to essentially, it buffed him, but it also buffed his turret.
It was basically overload for him and his turret.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
And that's Torbjorn in a nutshell. I mean, he's still used, but I see him less and less in play now.
I see him all the time.
I don't know.
All the time.
I feel like I see him less than I used to see him.
No, I see him all the time. But the thing is, when you used to see him before, he was a unironic pick. Now he's actually like picked to be serious now.
Yep.
Like before, people used to just pick him and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm picking this Torbjorn."
Torb on attack.
Yeah, attack Torb.
Yeah, I hardly ever actually see him, but I have run into his turrets a lot.
Also, Torb is technically considered a 2-star difficulty hero out of 3.
I mean, I would only say that because of how his gun is. That's like it. Like other than that,
Fair.
I mean, but let's be honest. Every Torbjorn play of the game is just like him jerking off in the corner while his turret does all the work.
Listen,
Problem.
you motherfuckers, you gotta let Webby finish in the corner.
I mean, that's fine.
No, I don't.
It's rule number 1. You have to.
We don't play
Number
Dead by
one.
Daylight no more for that same
Wait, is this canon that Webby jizzing in the corner is what killed Dead by Daylight for us?
Probably.
I guess. I mean, I
Webby,
accept this. I'm sorry.
Your jizz did what nobody else could do. It killed Michael Myers.
Oh no!
Isn't he technically dead?
Not Mikey Mike.
No, he's alive.
I haven't seen the new Halloween movie.
You good?
Hey, Mikey, I think he likes it. All right, we got 2 more heroes to get through.
Thank Jesus.
Thank
All right.
Jesus. Next, we got Tracer. I
hate Tracer the most.
I love
This is
Tracer.
Rescue Sombra? Or Symmetra?
Yeah.
I love Tracer from like a story perspective. When I first saw the original Overwatch trailer for the game, she was in it, and I fell in love with the character. I love the look of the character. I like the abilities of the character. I fucking suck playing as her, which really breaks my heart because I really, really wanted to be a good Tracer, but no matter how much I try, I can't. I'm not good.
The secret is using thinner paper.
Yeah, okay, fair. Oh. God damn it, Avelos. God damn it. Well, we're done, folks. That's where you end a podcast.
Damn you, witty puns.
So Tracer is a 2-star out of 3.
I would argue and say she's actually a 3-star.
I see. That's where I would have put her too. She dual wields pulse pistols. They're very fast firing, just pistols. I mean, they don't do anything super special.
No, that's not true. No, not on paper. They don't do anything special, but they have the wackiest RNG in the game. There is no rhyme or reason to how her headshots work because of how her spray is. They're basically instantaneous shotguns. You have no real way of guaranteeing yourself a headshot when you shoot with her.
Okay.
You can aim at the head and get all body shots. I've seen it.
All right.
Yep.
It's the wackiest RNG ever, and that's why you'll see like a lot of pro players. They just run up to people and just literally spin in a circle on people's heads. And sometimes the RNG will work out. They will get all headshots.
Now, I don't know. I know it goes to another button as well, but her right mouse button for me anyway is her blink.
Yeah.
Also, left shift.
It's
So
also
they both
left
do
shift.
blink.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually both.
Yeah.
By default.
So she gets 3 charges on her blink, and then they relatively quickly recharge. I mean, it's not instant, but I mean, you're not sitting there waiting like the same length of time that, say, Reaper's Wraith Walk would be. But this allows her to move around the map much faster, in and out of combat, like Devin was speaking earlier about, engaging and then disengaging out of fights. And it can be used in tandem with her E ability, which is her recall, where she bounces backwards in time. She literally rewinds time, returning all of the health from, a specified point and ammo, and then puts her back in the position. Now, Devin, is there an actual, how far back it rewinds the time? Like, what how many seconds it is?
I think
It's the blink. It's where you started the blink usually.
Well, I mean,
No,
you don't
before
have
that.
you don't have to do it with blink though. That's the thing.
No, I know, but that's how I usually judge it. If they're gonna blink and they hit recall, they're going back to the stage where before they blinked. That's
Right.
like just a rough. But if Devin has actual numbers, that's usually how I would judge it. Because if his Tracer blinks in front of me, I can kill her because I know where she's going back to.
it
I'm sorry.
rewinds 3 seconds back.
3 seconds back. Okay.
So it rewinds It takes 1.25 second rewinding time. So the whole rewind time is 1.25 seconds, but it will rewind 3 seconds back.
Okay. And then her ultimate is she has
It's a buff.
it's a timed
Yes, it does.
sticky bomb, essentially. Now, do you guys say that because it just doesn't do enough damage?
Now it used to do more. It used to do 500. They nerfed it down to 300. But the problem is, I laugh. I say if you click Roadhog's right click does 300 damage. If it bursts right in somebody's face, it does 300 damage. So Roadhog's right click does more than her ult. A good aimed Roadhog right click does more damage than her ult.
All right.
And her ult kills her.
Yeah, I was gonna say, fun fact. I just found out that her ult kills her if she stands too close.
Just like you used to.
So, I mean, a lot of times, whenever I get her ult, I'll usually blink into somewhere, stick the bomb on somebody, and then instantly recall back. That way I know I'm a safe distance away.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's Tracer in a nutshell.
And her ult has way too much CC in terms of people you just cannot ult on.
Right.
May, Reaper,
Yes,
Winston, you can ult on him. It won't kill him.
It does if you put it on May and she
Ice
snowman
blocks.
as you call it, it negates it, right? Or does it still
it negates it. Nope, it negates it. Same thing with Zarya's bubble, which makes no sense actually because you stick Zarya, but her bubble will absorb it.
Yeah, I mean,
So Zarya's bubble will do it. I think Orisa's fortify does too. I think her fortify knocks it off. I think. Don't quote me on that one. I think.
Now, what is Tracer's main role as a damage dealer?
A
flanker.
assassin. She's a backline assassin.
All right.
So she's meant to basically just exist in the backline for the most part and just assassinate people immediately because she does the most burst damage in the game. Like in actual DPS, she does the most DPS in the game.
Okay. All right. Well, one more. Lastly, we got a sniper. We have Widowmaker.
I both love and hate this bitch.
Yep, same with me.
Same. I'm not another person I'm not good with.
I love and hate her because I can't get consistent with her.
Yeah. I mean, she... Well, let's just go through the abilities because I think that might explain a lot.
Yeah. All right. So Widow has a rifle called Widow's Kiss. Her left click is she can use it just like an automatic rifle. And then her right click, just like every other sniper, essentially zooms in and scopes. And then she can shoot at a distance. Now,
We'll pause right here. Oh, continue.
I was going to defer to Devin because her scoped shots do, I know, significant damage, especially if they're head versus body shots. And then there's actually a charge up time to it as well.
Yep.
And then a third component to that, and then we'll go to Devin for any other stats, is that it actually takes 3 bullets of her ammunition to do the charge shot.
Yes.
Oh, I did not realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, takes 3.
All right.
So the thing about her is though, her passive ability, she's the only character in the game that she benefits from a triple, so a 300% increase on headshots instead of a 200% increase on headshots.
Okay.
So she can pretty much headshot, like if she headshots a tank, they're hurting because I think her default damage is, I can tell you, I think a full charge shot's 100.
I thought so. Sounds right. Because it eliminates everything else.
Our full round shot that's the Widow's Kiss. That's the regular shot. 120. Sorry, 120 fully charged, and does her headshots do 3 times damage.
Now, wasn't it once nerfed, so it did less damage?
No, sorry, not 3 times. 2.5 times. So her headshot does 300 damage. There we go. So, because so a headshot from her would do 300 damage, so she can headshot and kill anybody Hanzo couldn't kill with a headshot. She can, in terms of like actual DPS.
All right.
There's really not anybody out here that she can't kill outside of the tanks. Even a Zarya would be in trouble if she got headshot by her.
All right.
Because Zarya would have 100 HP left.
Her left shift ability is a grappling hook, which I'm not sure what the range is. The range is actually pretty long. It's a decent range.
It's inconsistent, if you ask me.
It is.
It's 20 meters.
No, it seems farther than that a lot of the times. But yeah, that essentially just allows her to get up to scalable surfaces and up into little, essentially sniper perches. She has her E ability, which is her Venom Mine. She'll put this down on the ground, and then anybody who comes into proximity of it, it will trigger a gas, and they'll become poisoned and take a small damage over time. And then her ultimate is Infrasight, where essentially
Ultimate in the game.
she puts down her visor, and your entire ally team can see the location of the enemy team for X amount of seconds, no matter where they are on the map.
Yeah, that's the worst ultimate in the game, hands down.
Am I allowed to go off now?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so let's start with this. Number 1, she is the weakest sniper in the entire game, only in respect to utility. Like Devin just said, she can kill any person very easily for the headshot. Good luck getting a headshot, because basic training in this game is don't stand still. So you either have to be predictive or damn good at a sniper to get those good headshots. Glad we talked. Venom Mine. People can see it and destroy it. Needs to be changed. I'm okay with it being destroyed because that observant enough to see it, you deserve to destroy it. I think what it should do is just do the damage over time effect and allow Widow to know where that person is only because the mine went off. So she could be able to see them infrared through walls. Sombra has Opportunist, which actually wasn't on we didn't go over it, where she can see weakened enemies who are almost dead through walls. I don't think it's fair that Widow's Venom Mine allows them to see it for the duration that they are damaged or timed.
Okay.
Infrared Sight, worst ultimate in the game. It has its utilities. Like the only time I've ever enjoyed it, sorry Webby, is when a Junkrat's Riptire is coming, and you just so happen to have it, and you can throw it down, and you can line up that one shot because you can get rid of the Riptire very easily.
Mhm.
Beyond that, it's shit. I have talked many times, Dev and I have debated a lot, that I feel like an appropriate buff to her ult is sure, still leave it the same, let her see everybody, but when her infrared sight is up, her body shots would do the equivalent of a headshot.
Nope. I have a better idea of her.
That'd be
for
rough.
I have a better idea of her ult. Change her ult completely all the way up. Maybe the biggest thing I would probably do, if anything with her ult, would actually be like kind of like what you just said, or she can have something along the lines of like the Widowmaker, where basically if she shoots you, or maybe she does less damage, but if she shoots you, give her like a team support ult, because I feel like she should be a team support sniper, more than anything, not necessarily a eliminate, because the meta's changed so much. We're having an elimination style sniper, like she still does her damage. I would make her all along the lines of anybody she shoots is dead, or like not dead, but like they have the ability where they're fucking basically one shot to anybody else. They're fucked up. Or I'm even okay with what you said. Like she has 2.5% damage on all her shots, body shots and headshots. Would make her really rough. She would have the best zoning ult in the game, but it would have to be counterbalanced if she would have to review her position. So kind of like a McCree, where she has that giant glowing red orb around her.
Yeah,
Let you know, like, okay, she's right there, but it would be the best zoning ult in the game because any squishies would get fucked in one shot. They're dead.
and
Now,
that's math
replacement
power.
to
Yeah,
that, I would give her a new passive where anytime you're in her scope, anytime you're in her sight, or if they want it to be anytime you're in her sight, your position is revealed to her team for like 3 seconds. So even if she's not hitting things, she's actively giving the team information.
Or it's the aura is revealed to the team for 3 seconds after you're no longer in her sight.
Or something along those lines.
Yeah, because if you're if you're actively scoped in on somebody, have that aura revealed to the team as long as you're looking at them. If they're no longer in your sight, up to 3 seconds.
Or anybody she shoots is revealed to the team. So like,
sure,
if she gets like a body shot and it's not like she can't get a headshot, but they're marked until they heal. That will be interesting. It's like they're marking, like her bullets are like embedded in you until you heal. So they're marked until they're healed, until they're topped off.
I actually like that idea. Hunter's mark, essentially.
Yeah. Effectively. They're marked until they're topped off.
The only other thing I might like to see is the grappling hook changed or have something added to it.
It needs a quicker cooldown. I think that 12-second cooldown on her is fucking ridiculous. It's her only mobility tool. Granted, she's not meant to be dove, and her Venom Mine is not meant to be used for damage. It's meant to be used as a sentry to like let you know, oh fuck, I'm being dove. That's what it's the only reason why it's there.
Right. No, I know. Yeah, I something I just thought of, and I don't know. Mostly because if you've watched any of the Overwatch Blizzard released animations, you really should. They're really good. If you haven't,
Agreed.
Is the grappling hook? She uses it in the animation with Tracer, almost like more of a not just movement tool, but she like wraps her leg around it, like, and allows her a unique position. In Overwatch, the sniper's perches, everybody knows where they are, so they know if you find a widow, if there's a sniper perch, there's a widow, there could be a Hanzo.
Yeah.
So if she could use her grappling hook to like hook into a wall and then like
and hang from it.
Yeah, that would be different. It would give something different to her, and then you probably wouldn't really to change many other things because it allows her to be more than just up there. There's going to be a widow in that window, and everybody knows it in King's Row.
Right.
So you want to see it go Rainbow Six, where like she could fucking like she's outside of the fucking window, hanging upside down, sniping you.
That would be cool. Yeah. Essentially, without maybe the ability to whip around, but give her the Hammond grappling hook. Be able to
right
hook something and then hang from there.
And then if she's grappling something, give her like if she taps it again, she repels to that location. So
right,
yeah, exactly.
Like she's pulled to that location, so she can quickly get away. And then I would say just reduce the cooldown. Like her cooldown, even if they don't do anything else to her, her cooldown on her grappling hook is dumb.
Right. And it's supposed to be like her movement and escape tool if needed.
Yeah, it's 12 seconds. It's so long.
In this fast paced game that is very long. And,
Like I said, it was different back in the day when she was like the reigning supreme of snipers.
right, and since that has disappeared and changed and evolved, they need to reevaluate her.
A good Ana will outshoot. I mean, it's a risky play. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm an Ana who frequently takes Widow duels. Should I take a Widow duel as an Ana? Probably not. Do I do it anyway? Absolutely. I like to assert my dominance. So with that being said, I mean, I don't have any issues dueling a Widow. Like because this is the thing about Widows. Most Widows, because they're the squishiest DPS probably in the game. They're vulnerable. They're in the back, but if they get shot and you know where they are, they're so vulnerable. Like if a Winston dives her, she can't do anything.
Right.
Like she can grab hook away, but Winston's right back on her in like 1 second because his jump comes up every like 5 seconds. I think it is.
Yeah, it's relatively low. Yeah,
So
she
he's
can't.
right back on her. Like
escape.
she can't really get away. Genji dives her. She can't really do anything about it. Tracer gets on her. Outside of elevation, she can't really do anything to Tracer. Outside of elevation, like she can get the high ground on Tracer, but yeah.
But
It's like,
either way,
she's a bad matchup for everybody at any kind of mid close range, which makes sense because she's a sniper. Or I would even say just buff her, give her shorter grappling hook, cooldown, and buff her left click, her basic left click, buff that, like her actual machine gun, buff that, where it's actually kind of a threat.
so she can then be multi-facet instead of just
Yeah, like so if you're forced to like it's make it where it's not like ideal to be. Like, for instance, if it's a sniper rifle, I would give her like a heavy rifle. I would give it, instead of like, right now it's like a soldier rifle, I would give her like a heavy rifle where it has a slower firing rate. Like, I'm like
But does more damage.
does more damage. Kind of like a Gears weapon. Like, that kind of, like a Gears of War weapon. Like, it just does more damage, but it's a slower firing rate. Give her that. And the reason why that is if she's forced into a situation to be a frontliner for some reason or another, then she can at least defend herself. If you dive Widow, she's fucked.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. She is the one that needs she needs to be the next rework.
Mercy needs to be the rework.
She's been done 17 times. She need a break. All that plastic surgery is going to kill her.
No, I mean, this is the problem with Mercy, though, right? She's not fun to play. Because you literally just hang in the back and just heal your team, heal bot your team. Everything on your entire success in your team is down to your team. Like, you can bring your team back 1,000 times. If they can't heal anything, or they can't kill anything, it doesn't matter. Mercy has no impact on the game outside of that. And, like, you don't really ever have that moment playing
Hey,
Mercy.
she can
like,
pull out her pistol and fucking pitch in if
there
no one's
are
killing
Mercies
shit.
that do that. And
Okay.
I've been on teams with those Mercies that, like, it's like they just feel like they're not getting anything done. Nothing's getting shit done. And you can see the moment in the Mercy's eyes where they just give up. And they just like, fuck it, I'm going to take on this Reinhardt with my pistol. Fuck it, let's go. And sometimes they actually get the kill. And then I laugh silently because I'm just like, your Mercy just killed our Reinhardt by herself, something your whole DPS squad couldn't do.
Dun, dun.
Yeah.
I think Mercy players are capable of the most salty ever. They're capable of the most salt of any player. Because they've seen it all. Like, Mercy players have seen all the shit. They've seen the shitty Genjis who dive, take like 5 HP of damage, and then beg for 8 health. They've seen those Genjis. They've seen, like, the teams that just won't push, that won't initiate. Like, I'm healing you up, but you're not doing anything. You're taking tickle damage. Move in. They've been there. Like,
You know
I
what?
feel bad for Mercies.
Yeah, Mercies get yelled at for rezzing people. Why the fuck did you res me?
In Mystery Hero! Mystery Hero! Don't res me on Doomfist. I play Doomfist. Can I
Fucking
play
Rob.
Doomfist? Sure.
Come on.
But no.
All right. Well,
You know what? The one time, you know what? Next time you play Mystery Heroes, the one time you get Symmetra, if I'm a Mercy, you die, I'm going to walk over like I'm about to heal you and be like, oh, wait, no, I'm not going to res you by. And walk away. And be like,
no,
what?
you don't even walk away. That's when you float away.
Shit.
No, I'm going to start damage boosting his dead body.
Okay, so me and Devin kind of did this at the end of the other episodes, but I'm not going to go through each person. I'm going to pick one character for each of us, but I want your guys' input. We're going to start with Sombra. If you're playing against a Sombra, what would be a good counter for her? Like, how would you deal with a good Sombra?
Better Sombra.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I have my answer in my head. I have two, but one's kind of a gimme because, yeah.
Well,
I mean, I get Soldier 76, depending on who starts shooting first, but
okay.
even if she hacks him, he can't use his heal, but he can still do as much damage as she can. So.
I would say to deal with a good Sombra, you're not giving me a situation here. So how you deal. So I'm gonna say that she's on you as an individual, whether you're in the backline, you're an Ana, you're whatever, and she's hacked you, so your skills are limited. You want to inflict the most damage you can on her because 9 times out of 10 she's got that translocator somewhere, and you want her to get out because otherwise she will just stay on you to kill you. Or if she hasn't attacked you yet, and the other situation is you catch a glimmer of her, just try to spray and pray because if you can hit her, it'll pull her out of her stealth and it screws up her entire plan.
And also, too, if you pull her out, if I'm not mistaken, you have to confirm this for me, Avelos, you still go through if you get shot out of your invisibility, you still go through the animation of coming out of invisibility almost. So Correct. You're still kind of like CC'd for like a split second if you get shot while you're in invisibility mode.
You are correct. Yeah, so if you can pull them out of invis that isn't out, because obviously they're going to, take into consideration that split second of unusable time before they invisible. You can screw up their entire game. Or you'll force them to translocate prematurely because they don't want to die.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, is there any particular character that you would...
If you can detect the Sombra, if you have an ally that can detect the Sombra, Bastion can delete her very quickly because he has the biggest spray and pray area potential.
Okay.
But that is situational, as I said. There isn't right. The only other one maybe might be Junkrat. If you can pull her out of stealth or she tries to get on a Junkrat, your bombs will delete her. If you can hit her point blank.
Well, see, that's where the landmine comes in too, because that will knock her.
Hacks you, you're fucked.
She hacked you. You can't use it. You can't use your concussion and you can't use your trap. So you have to, but you hit your goal at that point is if she's on you and it's a one-on-one situation, very rare in Overwatch, you're going to have to make her retreat or kill her. Otherwise, she is just going to stay on you to kill you, because 9 times out of 10, she's probably hacked a health pack nearby, and she's going to go heal herself, and she'll be back, and you'll be fucked.
Yep. All right.
I have my answers.
What are your answers, Devin?
So, if I'm going to get the Sombra, and I'm hacked, and she hacks me, I want to be one of 2 characters, or characters that are... You want to go for... You want to be a character that doesn't rely on cooldowns to win fights. Like, a soldier would be a bad idea, only because if you're hacked, she can burst more damage in your face than you probably can, and your best damage against her is your Helix Rocket, which you can't use. So, in just a straight-up gunfight in your face, she's going to out-damage you more likely than not. If you go to... But for me, personally, I would pick Mei, because Mei left-click still beats Sombra, and 9 times out of 10, the second she starts getting frozen, she's just going to recall because she knows she can't win the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then Reaper, because he just does so much damage that one good headshot from him will actually kill. So he can one-hit Sombra in the face. He does 140 damage with a headshot.
Hacking Reaper does pretty much nothing.
Yeah,
keep him from teleporting.
Reaper's cooldowns are... In a 1v1, Reaper's cooldowns are useless. You don't need to Wraith. And only reason why you would Wraith in a 1v1 is if you need to reload your guns, because his Wraith form reloads your weapon.
Alright. Okay. Now, how would you guys counter a good Hanzo? Other than, I mean, I guess the typical go-to for that one would be
a better Hanzo,
an all-around just a better sniper. Yeah, somebody who can take care of them from far away.
Yeah, but no, because Hanzo can switch his playstyle, because Hanzo can easily go mid to close range and still do okay. So he can just avoid that battle if he really wants to.
But you're still at that point now. You're still forcing him down off of whatever perch he's on currently.
Right, but Hanzo does okay on the front range. Hanzo
Right.
does okay. Hanzo does just as good behind like a Reinhardt shield on the ground level than he does up in a sniper perch. Hanzo's one of the most dangerous like frontliner characters in the game because he can one shot almost any character in the game. So while you're not wrong, if the Hanzo's dead set on sniping, yeah, a better sniper would kill him. If he's okay and comfortable being in like close mid range, then yeah, I mean that's pretty much what's up.
The only other thing to add on to that I can think of is from the sniper's distance, it's a tank. He can melt tanks. Let's not lie when I say this. But like if he's perched up high, D.Va could probably get him with her thrusters or in her rockets and force him to retreat. She's probably the only one that has that range from the tank version, sans a sniper.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. D.Va would be a good option on one condition. The D.Va needs to be a good D.Va enough to realize when not to use her. She can't use her when she's diving in. She can't use her matrix because the second if you use her matrix diving in, the Hanzo actually wins that fight because as soon as she lands, he storm arrows her right in the face.
Yep.
For 6 arrows, she's out of mech, and then now it's a baby D.Va versus Hanzo fight, which is the one thing I need to work on my Hanzo play on. Is just a close range duels. Like Moira gives me hell as Hanzo. Like I fucking hate playing Moira as against Moira as Hanzo. Like I have the hardest time killing her. She has a small ass hitbox, probably like not tiny, but she's not the biggest character.
Right, and the fact that she has the ability to weave in and out of combat really
Weave in
quick.
and out of combat, and she doesn't even have to aim. She can just throw an orb down. She can throw like a death orb down, and then just stay locked onto you.
Yep, but she's got to get there first, which is why she doesn't fall into a primary slot.
Right, exactly. But I mean, I know like if like you counter her, if Hanzo's playing the front lines and Moira gets on him, like there's not much me anyway I can do. Like a good Hanzo with better aim, and I know I need to work on my aim, could do a lot more and do a lot faster. But I know me personally, that's my most hated matchup.
Okay. What about against a Symmetra?
The delete key.
Alt F4. Alt F4.
No,
Delete system 32.
believe it or not, I don't have a hard time against Symmetra.
I do and I don't.
Like as you said earlier, Devin, the only time there is a hard time with Symmetra is when she's got the trio of turrets, and I usually try to stay pretty focused. And plus, I know where most Symmetra players are going to put them anyway. They maximize their damage. They do the triangle, the trifecta laser. It's pretty simple. But I usually am a backline person anyway when it comes to Reaper. So I just go for behind. And without those turrets, she's nothing. Because she doesn't have a lock on anymore. So without her turret, she can't do jack to you.
Yeah, tips if you're playing Symmetra, don't group all your turrets together. I like to hide them in different places so when people come around corners, like there's one there when they're fighting my team so they don't notice it, and then they're getting zapped in the back while they're fighting the team, and then I have other ones in different places so they're not all destroyed right at once. And then focus fire on a shield, because that increases your laser power if you're not good at aiming. So I'll focus fire on like Oriza or
Reinhardt.
why the hell can't I think of his name? Yeah, Reinhardt. Like right on their shields until my laser's fully powered, and then I start aiming at people. I can take out a lot of people that way.
Okay. I'd say probably the easiest time I ever have against Symmetras are honestly when I'm Junkrat.
Shocker.
Yeah. Well,
I
I mean,
think the easiest time you have playing Overwatch is when you're
hey,
The
I
truth
just
came out.
I got real good with Junkrat real fast,
and that's why I keep telling you, play him.
But I want to get that good with other people.
Like play him and play Brigitte. Just play You love Junkrat. Like
I
play
do.
the character that you're gonna have an easier time learning him because you love playing him.
Fair, I guess.
There is some truth beyond that. They say you'll enjoy learning something if you actually enjoy it versus do forced.
Yeah. Speaking of Junkrat, last question I have for you guys is: how do you guys counter a good Junkrat? Then everything grew silent. Did my router go out again?
No. So I'm going to ask one precursor question. When you say good Junkrat, what level of good do you mean?
I was gonna be like, you say good Junkrat. Where do these good Junkrats exist?
Listen, I like to think I'm a good Junkrat.
No, that's what I thought he was gonna say.
No. So the reason I ask is so Junkrat is one of the only people that can actually have a lie in wait trap, aka the concussion mines and the jaws of death.
Yeah.
Are those on the ground or not? Is your iteration of a good Junkrat player, are those in play?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then in which case, I usually play somebody that can get over them really quickly. So I will always be Reaper. Because guess what? A Junkrat is shit when you're right in their face. And they don't have their cooldowns because they're too busy arming a trap with a mine, and they only have one left. And if they're using it recklessly, it's easier to get in close to them. So I will do that. 2 to 3 shots with Reaper shotguns, they're dead, and I Wraith Walk over their dead body as they blow up.
All right.
Because I can use Shadow Step to get behind them because they're so busy and so focused on pushing forward. Because in my experience with the Junkrats I fight, they're bloodthirsty and hungry because they get a lot of kills very quickly, very easily. So they're very forward, very going, so easy to pick off because they're a little cocky.
All right. Fair. I accept this. Devin, what about you?
Good Junkrat. Honestly, it'd be a Hanzo. Just because there's really he has to close on you.
Every time I die as Junkrat, it's always to a goddamn Hanzo.
Because he's a good counter to him because he doesn't have to close with him at all. It's just like, oh, this is the fate you chose for us. Okay, I got this.
Goddamn dragon tattoo.
Wow, somebody's so bad.
I know, right? He's so salty.
Edquist, do you have a good counter against if you're playing against somebody who's just seems to be wrecking face with Junkrat?
I would play Mercy and heal the person that's going to deal with him. Because it's not going to be me.
That's, you know what? Bonus points for honesty on that one, I guess. That's. I will say, when I get really down and out, and I'm playing with Devin, and I notice he plays Hanzo, every so often I'll just pick a Mercy and I'll just walk around and heal him and damage buff him and fuck the rest of the team. And most of the time it works out because Devin will just wreck everybody.
I mean, sometimes we all need a pocket.
Yeah. So.
The characters I play, I never get a pocket because I'm in too much of the fray. They're too afraid to come.
You know what? Next time you play Reaper and I'm in a match with you, I'll play Mercy. I'll be pocket healer just for you.
You shouldn't do that.
I mean, a pocket a Reaper with anything, it should be a Zenyatta.
Yeah, because that word doesn't really have to leave.
I actually tried that with Avelos, and he yelled at me. He was like, "Rob, go away."
Yeah, well, it's because you followed me. I was going behind enemy lines.
He does his teleport thing, and all of a sudden there's this Mercy flying across the map.
I'm like, stop it. It was a one-night stand. Stop it. Get away. And
then he dies in the middle of a group fight, and just Rob's there resing him, and then he just instantly dies again.
He died, and then I ran away.
What happened that time? Like in the middle of the map. I'm like, Rob, no.
Stop. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You guys complained when I res you, no matter what.
Stop being that Mercy that dives into like. I was the dumbass that jumped into a 1v fucking 6. Don't follow me in there. That's bad Mercy habit. Don't do that.
Man. Anyway, all right. Well, that's all the heroes that we did. We did a couple counters for some of our favorite DPSs. Anyway, we are over the 2-hour mark. We actually did pretty good time for the amount of DPS heroes that we had to do.
Jeez.
But yeah, so we're gonna end the episode here. Edquist, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Confessor_X and on Twitch at ConfessorX.
And Avelos, where can people find you at?
Shit.
You want to put you want to shout out your YouTube,
Twitch.
No.
Twitch?
Twitch I will do. So the Twitch is Gamer Avelos on Twitch. I'm actually on a hiatus break. I am coming back as of next Friday with some Resident Evil 2. So that should be fun. And I'm on Twitter, and I can't remember what it is at this very particular second. Shadowfrost. That's from another game. We can cover that in a different episode. Shadowfrost 27, and I mostly just post about my YouTube there, which is child friendly, which none of it see, but it's there.
Hey, I can be child friendly.
I do it at least once a month.
Yeah, whenever we play Fate. John has the least amount of trouble with me, apparently.
And me.
Well, all I'm gonna say is that good for you.
I think I only take the crown because Webby intentionally curses after somebody else's curse because he knows that John's gonna have to edit anyway.
Yeah, or every so often I'll say, "Hey, John, fuck, ha ha ha." Now you have to edit that. But yeah.
Yeah, that's where you can find me.
Devin, where can people find you at?
You guys can find me on Twitter at DMP_Pookie and on Twitch at Pooh Killed Me.
And as always, you guys can follow me on Twitter at JaxForestwalker, all one word, and on Twitch at DMWebby. And on Instagram, I post funny pictures at Devin.
Fuck.
See, you forgot.
52.
Okay, Patrick.Webster52.
No, I died of May.
Oh, all right.
I lost the May duel. That's why.
Mayton.
And thanks everybody for listening. And as always, fuck Booster Gold.
Who's he again?
And fuck Symmetra.
Fuck Symmetra. Fuck Symmetra.
I threw that
bastard.
Listen, I threw that in there because Devin threw that in at the end of like both the other episodes.
Well, I'm glad we had this conversation,
Yeah, I
y'all.
converted.
He's Edquist, he's slowly gaining followers.